What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And today, we gapped up last Friday, or we pushed hard, we traded flat coming into the futures. And today we tried to sell off, and then we just kind of got stuck. There was a lot of individual stocks, a lot of tier two. NASDAQ stocks were actually running quite well today, but a lot of big tech was held back until the end of the day. And then whatever reason, I didn't actually see any news that came out, but for whatever reason, there was a massive pop in big tech. Apple took off. Apple had a developer conference today, so they disclosed a lot of information. It really didn't do a lot. It did kind of tank a couple others like ZM and Amazon for a moment, but then all of a sudden everything turned around except Amazon. But all big tech. Facebook ripped today. It had a phenomenal day. Tesla came back out of nowhere and reclaimed some really important support, which was great to see at the end of the day. I know there was rumor going around about they were able to start selling vehicles in India. I don't know if that rumor has been proven or not. I know they also came out, they're doing a live event on June 10th for the Plaid. So there was a lot of information that came out today. NVIDIA kind of dropped off. Roblox kind of fell from grace. There was a lot of action today. And as you can see, I mean, the market is holding solid. I really wanted it to reclaim this. It tried very hard to get up here. Even towards the end of the day, I was debating if I was going to even swing anything. I did end up grabbing Tesla shares about midway before it started pumping, just small lots. And then I grabbed a sizable position in SQ today as well. Once I saw the market started reclaiming some important support for the gap up tomorrow. If we do gap up, I'll be looking for a pullback, and I'll be looking to add more shares and calls at that point, because I do believe we're going to test all-time highs. But do also remember that on Thursday, we have the core CPI data that comes out, and we have the federal budget. Depending on what goes on, I could see us possibly pulling back tomorrow night, even just in the Thursday. Maybe we trade flat tomorrow night. I don't know, but I think people are starting to get kind of null to the inflation and everything that is going on. I think people are starting to see that. The inflation numbers, I believe, the yield curve is sitting at 1.56, I believe, is what I last saw. So it's actually it's holding well again, being said. So we're going to have to definitely see what happens. But again, ultimately, it's good to see the market reclaim middle Bollinger Band, get back over this on the hourly, on the daily. On the daily, we're just retesting that linear regression line. We did break above it on Friday. Now we're retesting. Now I think we go back. We did break all-time highs towards the end of the day, which is good to see. So we are back at all-time highs. I do believe we can run from this trend line. Can we hit up the 430 mark? I think we could. But again, it depends on the data that we get towards the end of the week. I don't know if that's going to stall us getting there or accelerate us getting there. I think if there is a strong possibility that we possibly could accelerate up there if numbers are still good and everything is still panning out. I know Yellen came on the horn today and she was talking, trying to make some moves or discuss things that Mr. Powell typically talks about. So the market didn't really like that. And I think that's why we kind of stalled this morning, or else I think the market would have ran a little bit more this morning. But she came out and had some comments about specific things, about actions that need to be taken as far as tapering and stuff like that. So we're going to have to see how the rest of the week plays out. Her dropping random comments, it really doesn't help the market, because the market is extremely sensitive to a lot of these different inflation talks at the moment. So that's SPY, QQQ. Daily still looks really good. We have retested. I could see us. We do have a lot of headroom here. especially now that we kind of broke that, which we've been struggling to break over that, and we broke over it after hours. But heading for that new all-time highs in QQQ, I could definitely see that happening. We definitely struggled over this for a while, 2 days, slammed into a wall and tried to get over that. So it's good to see that we have actually broken out over that. Again, another reason why I was swung some Teslas. I did scalp Tesla as well with options towards the end of the day when it was making that push. And again, I just light shares right now, and then heavier side on SQ right now, just going into the evening. But as far as the watch for tomorrow, Tesla, I think Tesla is at a good support right now. Tesla, I think, can really rip tomorrow. I could probably actually add SQ on here because I am in this particular position, but that's another one we can to be watching tomorrow. I think it's still good. Hey, I wanted to kind of get over another support before I actually added onto it, but I think with this push, Square is one of those ones that starts pushing hard fast. It's one of the leaders as far as reclaiming a lot of lost ground. So that's why I'm watching that. I'm watching Revolve, TCAT, and Chewy. Chewy is definitely a short-term play. Just be aware it broke support today. I was watching it today. I originally got into it, then it failed support, and then it broke back over it after the end of the day push. I didn't jump back into it, but they do have earnings on Thursday, and I think it could actually reclaim a lot of headway. So that's something I wanted to bring up for the watch list tonight. So Tesla making some really good ground here today. One thing I noticed on the daily, I couldn't tell if it was a bear flag or we were creating a wedge here, which is something I noticed today. And so I wanted to actually jump in a lot earlier today, but I wanted to see how this was going to play out and how the market was going to play out. The market looked like it could have sold off a little bit more, but it did not. So, and then again, we made it back over that middle Bollinger Band, which is important in my mind, especially for Tesla and all the bad news it's been getting. So I did actually get into shares here once it broke that middle Bollinger Band, light, and I actually scalped it on the way up as well. Exited my options position, and then still in shares in this. Again, I see this, if the market starts really pushing, Tesla, I think, is going to go right along with it, especially with that news today. I think even though it's kind of rejecting here a little bit, it's good to see it around that 200 or just over that 200. So we'll have to see how that plays out tomorrow. But I think if we can open up above this tomorrow, that 605.26 mark, I think we got a lot of headroom, right? We could still run back up to that 625 mark, which I think is the next major resistance there. Test it there, break above that, then we can start moving up a little bit more. I don't expect Tesla to really make any dramatic moves. I have to start looking at earnings. And when Tesla's next earnings, especially if for whatever reason the bull market starts pushing, this starts pushing, it's good to kind of gauge where that is, only to determine. So I think it is actually, I have to take a look, but nonetheless, I think we're definitely in a spot we can start doing some pushing again, especially because Tesla's really taking a beating and wanting to run pretty badly. The price action has definitely shown the desire to want to run up fairly badly. So again, a lot of bad news and just market sentiment and inflation has kind of been dragging Tesla down. And then Square is the other one I have. Now Square, again, is something I've been watching. I started liking this consolidation and kind of basing here. And then towards the end of the day, I took a shares position here. On the daily, I like that it's over the middle Bollinger Band. It has support underneath. I do like that. We do have, I believe it's the 20 and the 50 to get through, but I think we can essentially smoke this 20 pretty easy. Retest that 50, but once we break that, we can start reclaiming some stuff. I like the fact that it has that cult-like following like Tesla. That's why I like Square as well. Anytime it's beat down, that Facebook or Tesla, anytime they're beat down bad, wait for them to base, and then definitely jump into those as soon as possible. And then the next one I have is Revolve Group. On the daily, this looks great. Possibly a better entry today at the 53.16 mark. But ultimately, I think, let's see, 53.16 mark. So it did tag that 200 today. I did miss this because I didn't have this actually set. If it does come back down to this, it is a good support. Again, to get in, but I would definitely keep a stop right underneath that 200 moving average. If for whatever reason it did break, you do not want to be in it because it's got some room to fall a little bit. But nonetheless, I think we could start making our way back up. It's a good couple dollar move there. Nonetheless, if you do perhaps get an entry here into at least back up to this point up here, it's at least a 10% move, possibly retest and probably even break back out. On top of that, TCAT is the other one I have. Now this one is typically an NFT play. It's been actually kind of consolidating, which is something I've been watching. But on the daily, what I do like here and what I want to watch is this wedge here. Is if we can break above that 21 mark, you're looking at about 21.10 or so. If we could break above that, I think TCAT can really make up some ground here, retest possibly even the 40, maybe if we get some momentum. But something I definitely want to watch. I think at least the 40, I think is something we could probably tag. The 74, I highly doubt it. This is more of a pump from the initial NFT craze, but I think we at least try to tag that 40, 35-ish. So there's a lot of potential still there as long as we can break out of this wedge. That's something I wanted to keep on watch. And then we had Chewy, which broke today, like I said. This was something I was watching, which I really liked on the daily. Let me actually pull a little bit. So we have this beautiful support here, and we just broke above it today. Like the last, I want to say, hour and a half of the day, we did break above it. We're holding. Tomorrow you could possibly look for an entry here, but definitely keep a tight stop and then follow it from that point. So as long as you can retag the 178, I mean, you could float within the zone. Possibly look for the 20 in the middle Bollinger Band, EMA support. They should be moving up as long as the stock keeps moving. So I would expect this tomorrow, this support to come back underneath essentially the zone here. And then once that's the case, if we can get a retest on that would be even better. That would ensure me that this is definitely going to go keep going, especially going into earnings. It's got a lot of room to run. So again, just be aware that Thursday is earnings after close. So this wouldn't be something I would hold. I would hold the day of earnings, but towards the end of the day, I would make sure I would get rid of it unless you're willing and ready to hold it through earnings. Again, that's not financial advice, but I just wanted to bring that up so you guys don't get in a position that was going into earnings. But that's essentially what I got. I think we got a good potential tomorrow for a lot of big runs tomorrow. Again, you got to remember Thursday, and then next week we have the Fed meeting as well next week. So I think a lot of those can really affect the markets. It might stall us until we get word and then make a direction change from that point. So just be mindful of that. Definitely mind your risk because there's a lot of chop and a lot of craziness going on in the market. The market is still very sensitive. Once this data comes out Thursday, once the Fed come next week, I think we'll get a little bit more stability at that point. And then even if it's bad inflation, I think the market will kind of absorb that and be okay with that because that's all we've heard essentially for like 2 months. So I think it's kind of becoming null. I think maybe just an acknowledgement of the Fed that, yes, we are tapering or something like that at this point in such and such time towards the end of the year, I think is what I'm expecting. And then from that point forward, I think we can definitely see some good movement back in the market and not this chop that we're beginning. But that's what I got for you guys. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Until next time, I will see you guys later.